G'day guys, and welcome back to another episode of the Pumped on Property Show, where today we flipped the script from last week, and instead of Ben interviewing me, I interview Ben about his plans moving forward. We kind of talk about the last 15 years for yourself as an investor, some of the lessons that you've learned and how you're going to carry that forward over the next 15 years and really getting clear on some of those goals. And it's really inspiring to hear some of the massive goals you have for yourself, your immediate family, your extended family, your friends, and all the people that you come in contact with throughout this business as well. And, kind of just shed a little bit and really open up and get really vulnerable and honest about where you've been and how you're going to carry that forward. So I'm really excited about getting stuck into this one, and I think there's a few nuggets of gold in there. And if you want to hear about what Ben's plans are moving forward, then we're going to unpack it today. It's pretty wild to think that you're 40 now, I'm 32 now, and it was 15 years ago where we were sitting at our parents' place in the spa. I remember having Macca around, you were there, and maybe it was your mate Percy as well, and you guys were just talking about property investing, and you guys had just gone out and bought your first place, and obviously being a 17-year-old at the time and you were 25, it was just so above my pay grade. I didn't really know what was going on. 15 years later, here you are, and I feel as though you're more motivated today to sort of continue pushing this envelope a little bit further, but for such a different reason compared to when you initially got started. So what is it that keeps you motivated to continue on this journey? Because, I've seen you climb so many hills and fall down so many hills over the last 15 years as well. So it's like, what keeps that fire burning?
It's pretty easy with heaps of debt. Debt is a big motivator for me because I don't like it. And I'll talk about it in a moment, but I did just get my own home. I do like having a four-wheel drive to tow my caravan. I do like traveling, and so those things superficially on the flesh plane motivate me. But what is really motivating me now is helping other people. I believe in our lives we have calling, and then within that there's purpose, and then within that's a job. But luckily my job and your job genuinely gets to help other people change their lives for the better every day. And it's also something that I love doing. I did property, I was probably 10,000 hours into property investing before I even got a chance to work in the industry full time. I was doing this for free, and now I get paid to do it every single day.
So initially it was sort of like this more selfish mentality of I need to get rich, I need to prove to the world that I deserve this or I'm worthy or something. But now it's more like, well, I've kind of achieved that, I've done that, but now I want to share it with more people.
Yeah, that's one of the drivers, absolutely coming from an approach for the rest of my life with everything I do, where I genuinely like helping people. I like being a person that helps people too. There's identity and ego attached to that too. I really like the idea, when my wife and I were finishing up our trip around Australia, we were talking about what is the next step? Because we're at the point where we just spent 6 months off, and we're we don't have to ever do this anymore if we don't want to anymore. We can sell the business, we can sell some properties, and we can just do this for the rest of our lives. That was a genuine convo. And I was well, I've sat on a beach. I've realized that my kids don't want to hang with me all day, every day, as much as I want to be with them.
Of course.
I can only train once a day and surf once a day without completely cooking myself. Another lesson that I learned from training 2-3 times a day and surfing 3 times a day on the trip. And cooking my shoulder because of it.
Not an athlete that has a masseuse, a dietitian.
Yeah, I was just on the road. I'm there wasn't even water for 2 or 3 weeks at a time. So it was just kind of obviously there was water because I would have been dead.
It's what so many people aspire to, is to have this freedom, to have this early retirement, to be able to, spend time with family and do whatever it is that you want to do whenever it is you want to do it. But it's you've lived it, and it wasn't what it's all cracked up to be. We were just literally talking about that Jim Carrey quote before we started recording. I wish everybody could be rich and famous to realize that it's not that good.
You still got to look in the mirror and be okay when you go to bed that night with the decisions and the person that you were that day. And so one of our good friends who was a client as well is killing it, like absolutely balling out, like for a young dude, as good a position as I've ever met in my whole life. And he said to me when I said I'm really thinking about just throwing all of this in about 3-4 years ago, when I was like a bit broken from how heavy it was, he's like, go test retirement. He's like, he has a big business that does very well. And he said, I was going to retire and then I decided to take a year off. And after that year off, I realized that I actually love business and I love helping people and I love doing what he does. And so we said, well, if an option isn't to retire, it's like, well, what else would motivate us? Because I'm a carrot and a stick guy. Like we are all driven towards or away from something as human beings. And so I went, well, what would drive me? And I'm like, contributing to a local charity would drive us. And you and I think last year gave over $50,000 to them, which is more than I lived off at uni for like 2.5 years.
I love that you coupled me into that. It was all you, but thank you.
Well, it's your, like we both did,
Yeah.
because you brought people on, and part of every client that comes on
It's
goes
a huge,
towards it.
it's a huge value of yours that I'm really excited about getting a part of in like a couple of weeks.
Yeah, and then 100% we get to go to their annual lunch
Yeah.
and like hear the stories of the people they're helping and just have some beers and some fun.
That's right, because we're fortunate, right? Like we grew up in, you know, a really like solid, maybe high-end middle-class family. You know, definitely not crazy wealthy, didn't have all the luxuries in life. And I know in your earlier years it didn't feel that way, but got there eventually. And, you know, not everybody has had that good fortune of just being born into the right family. And obviously when you go to these events and you hear these stories and you just, even just looking on social media or, you know, watching the news about all the terrible things that happen around the world, it's like, how can I support in any way, shape or form?
Yeah, and it can be very overwhelming. So, like, you know, to act global, start local.
That's
something
it.
that they taught me at uni, and like, obviously, they ripped that from Gandhi and Mandela. So it's like, it wasn't the first time that has ever come out at my uni.
But, all right, you go first.
I was just gonna say, like, what is motivating me now is I'd like to continue to maintain the lifestyle that I have.
Yeah.
I'd like to really. I read a book when I was just overseas, Die with Zero. So my new goal is to be able to help my children buy their first property in their early 20s. And then, don't listen to this, kids, which they won't. This will be so far buried after 15 years more of content. But in their early 30s, when they're just going through the hard times of young families, high debt, high stress, sort of in the careers they might want to be in, sort of not, completely pay off their own homes. So that's a big driving force. In my new home, our mum's moving into one of the properties. Like, so in the new home, there's 3 houses and she's moving in one completely free, never has to worry about anything again. Lisa's parents are moving into one for a couple of years while they travel. And then when they move out, just having a little granny flat on the property that is fully furnished, that friends, family can like come around and stay anytime they want. Our sister, one of our sisters in Sydney that doesn't work with us,
Who we wish did.
Yeah, she'd be such a gun. She'd be like the best of all of us.
We've tried and failed.
She like really just has spent her whole life looking after people. Like, she's worked in schools, special needs schools with high performance kids, and then also now writing like, she's basically writing the curriculum for the New South Wales government, which is amazing because she'll create change.
Mm-hmm.
But she is in a position where she hasn't done some of the stuff that we have. And so like my goal is honestly to pay off her home. Like, that's something I want to do. My other goal is, like, in terms of these things that motivate me, to keep making money. Like at Christmas time every year, me and Dad have been talking about it, put $10,000 each into the family bank account. And then it's like, what are we doing for the holidays? Like, does everyone want to go to Bali for 2 weeks? So we pay for the flights and the accommodation for the whole family, and everyone just gets there. Like, that's the shit that's motivating me now.
Which is completely selfless, and it's not necessary, like, because, you know, I think you've achieved your dreams and now it's like, okay, well, let's let the rising tide lift all ships. Let's help everybody around me that I love, that I want to spend quality time with.
It's
you know,
so selfish, bro.
lifestyle.
It is self-actualization. And then what you and I talk about, like, there's the Maslow's hierarchy of needs of like, and I've felt every one of them, and I'm working through it at the moment. Like I'm actually doing one-on-one weekly sessions with a trauma coach because I'm like, I want to heal my inner kid. I don't want to just be like, some days good, some days off. Like, and so we're doing some like actually fucking really deep work.
Yeah,
It's pretty
right.
confronting. But at the top of the thing is self-actualization. And you and I have always said there's actually a pyramid that no one ever drew, which comes out. And once you get past self, then you get to service. And it starts again with helping those around you, then helping more. And then, like, you know, the
The bigger
spiritual
it
says,
gets.
you know, become the light. Like they don't, in what I read, it's like you don't turn on a lamp to put that lamp underneath a blanket. You turn on a lamp so that it guides. And it's like, I want to create a life which is like, you can be joyful, even though I have a lot of darker days compared to a lot of people. You can be healthy. You can be financially free. If you want to be wealthy, cool. I don't want to be wealthy. I just want to be free. You can have a great relationship with your partner, your kids. You can actually have friendships. You can go and do shit on your own, away from your family. You can come back. That's the sort of thing that, like, balanced success, not like success that I've had before, which is trading every ounce of yourself and for like money or for fitness or for business or for investing or for like a relationship, like, you know, that obsessive thing that ends up kicking you out of balance because it's not all you value.
And you got back from your trip away, you know, almost 18 months ago. And so over the last 18 months, what has this looked like, obviously, in the figuring out of like, okay, well, you know, I need to figure out what the next 15 years is going to look like. And, you know, this is where you've found all of these new goals, new
What it's
things that are
looked
going to
like actually
motivate
is a
you.
monster regression back to being a dipshit. Like, if I'm being honest, like, I feel like I fucking figured out so much on the road. And then Lisa and I were talking about this last night. I'm like, that's the biggest regression I've ever had in my life, except when I go back to Sydney to see my school friends. And then it's like we all just act like we're 20.
What do you mean regression though? Like,
Because I let myself get busy again. I let myself get anxious again. I let myself touch the fairy dust and think that more goals, more clients, more properties, more dollars in the bank would make me happy. It was a trap. Like, I just was like, I felt so free. There's that concept in psychology of the bounce.
yeah.
You had it. You just came back from
Oh,
the
it's just
chillest month and then just went
bang.
boom. And you're like, I'm fucking really exhausted. I've
Yeah.
been back for 2
I
weeks.
burnt out after 3
Because
weeks.
you put all of the energy into overcorrecting.
I think we have, like, we're experts at that as well. It's just
Yeah.
like overcorrecting and just like
Pole vaulters, bro.
seeking the balance and then like always tipping it too far in one direction or the other and then having to come back. But
Life
that's
just keeps smacking me going, remember.
it's the all or nothing nature as well though.
Yeah.
It's like you're either all in on one thing or you're not in at all. And so that's just going to naturally create these bigger swings in life. But
You add a Gemini into that mix. Not that I'm a star sign guy, but it's like,
oh, dude, you are
whoa.
the truest Gemini I've ever met in my life, eh?
Yeah, it's just a wild ride even for me.
So obviously, like you feel like it's been a turbulent 18 months, but at the same time, like there's been a lot of figuring out. So no wonder it's created a little bit of that feeling inside that's been hard.
We also came back and had to restructure. So we went, the business as it was not my dream business anymore. And so we've let a whole bunch of stuff go within the business and rebuilt what makes us happy.
yeah, got rid of the ghetto office and built a beautiful office.
Yeah, like the Dogtown Z-Boy vibe that we're going for, Venice Beach, Bath on the Sunshine Coast was awesome.
In COVID.
Yeah, but then, like, you know, you triple your team and it's like, it's not that fun for everyone to be in one shared space. And so we always wanted a gym in the office. We got the gym now. Like, we always wanted a team of really positive people that are on the same page, and we've created that now.
It's just a motivating place to be as well.
Yeah.
Surrounded by top performers and people that care.
I think, you know, in my regression, it wasn't a regression. It was actually me going into a cocoon again and having another complete identity death. And I know this is like hectic stuff to talk about, but this is the reality of, like, I bounce and then I learn. And then you know, Ray Dalio says it better in Principles, like grow, fall, reflect, repeat. And slowly over time, you like hopefully move forward.
How do you learn without failing? Like, even when you say about this stuff that you're doing about the the upside down triangle at the top of the Maslow's hierarchy of needs, it's like, how? Like, I know that there is a way because people can do it, but like, I'm so intrigued to learn like how we can just change that human nature.
Honestly, man, if you figure it out, then let me know.
That's what I mean.
If Jesus, Lao-Tzu, Buddha, and all of the other incredible people that have come through to like show us how to live, haven't been able to like motivate, then I've got no chance. Hey, I'm
That's
just a
it.
punter.
It's really challenging. But so obviously you did a lot of things financially as well, like you've obviously upgraded your home, you got rid of some investment properties, you've, worked with your accountant to set up a self-managed super fund. So like there's been a lot of admin, I would call it, and like
Big admin.
restructuring the finances, restructuring the business and restructuring your personal life as well.
There were things that for me to live my best life in 15 years that I had to sort out now. And these aren't little things. It's like, what do we really want to live? Where do we really want to live? Like, and we looked at hundreds of properties to find that, where we wanted to kick all of our loans back to 30-year interest only because of the stage of the cycle we're in. We wanted offset accounts. We wanted them all with one bank, but we didn't want the insecurity of just being with one bank. So we have a sister bank that we can, if required, do things with. And we knew we wanted self-managed super because I didn't want my stocks to take a 50% hit in the next few years. And so those things all take time. And then we sold
And thought. Like,
5 properties as well. We've bought stuff too. It just all, it's all top, like it's all top of the head stuff. It's all
Yep.
that like above the waistline stuff that they talk about in
Yep.
that movie.
And now you need to be able to just move back into that heart space and like, okay, well, a lot of that's done
The
now.
sharpness is past.
You still got to, like, still a lot of changes here, and you've got to,
That's chill stuff.
that's all motivating stuff as well at the end of the day, because it's for a purpose. There's a lot more meaning there. And then obviously now stepping into action. So obviously you've kind of re-looked at where you're at right now, and, what does that look like?
Yeah, like 2 things there. Like in terms of something that you said, I used to have a very, very clear, I have a clear vision for the person that I want to be and the character I want to have and the future that I want. But I don't really have like goals there wasn't a year that I started for 20 years without a vision board and a list of too many goals. And I'd beat myself up if I achieved 25 out of 26, you know what I mean? Like it was just my nature.
Never good enough, never appreciative of like, all the wins.
Always grateful, but never celebrating them.
Yeah.
Always believed I already had them, like, because I'm a manifestor the same as you, like,
Yeah.
but never properly in the present, never properly in the future.
Yeah.
And I think I don't have like a 5-year goal anymore. I have a series of steps in different parts of my life, and we'll talk about the financial side of that, because financially it's very easy. It's ones and zeros. If you understand cycles and markets, then, and you just dollar cost average in over a long period of time, you'll be sweet.
And I was listening to the last few chapters of The Secret Wealth Advantage over the last week just to kind of have a bit of a refresher. And, basically his number one advice is like, so long as you know where we're at in the cycle and don't get emotional, that's a winner's game.
I was almost buying $500,000 of physical silver last week. Like that, we did your one and we were having a laugh because you were talking about like a Gympie subdivision, and then at the same time, I've got like a purchase order for that amount of physical silver. And I'm like, what am I doing?
Yeah.
Like I got wrapped up in it, and then thankfully to your combo, it gave me perspective on myself, and I'm like, actually settle down, think about things. If you feel this impulsive, you should definitely not do it.
100%. And, it's hard not to get involved in that FOMO because everybody around you is doing really cool things, but it's more about meeting yourself in your own world, as opposed, because you and I are so used to meeting people in their worlds, because our job all day, every day, is to help people connect the dots from where they are to where they want to be, and motivate them and guide them through the execution of achieving those goals. And so you kind of get this like false sense of reality of like, oh, like everybody's doing stuff, I need to do stuff as well. But at the same time, we've got to take stock and recognize that like we've done a lot to get to this point, and there's a time and a place. Like one of the things that we say in our welcome email to clients that work with us is like, one of the biggest lessons and one of the biggest telltales of your success as an investor is understanding when to buy and when to sell and when to sit on the sidelines.
And that last one is the hardest one, because as an investor at the start of your journey, you're just saving, buying, investing, and it's really fun. And then at the end of your journey, it's like selling down or at different stages of your journey, and that's very simple too. But the I'm used to doing stuff and now I'm not doing stuff thing rattles most investors that I know, and actually damages their position too.
It's a comfort zone thing too as well, because it's just what you do. Like for 15 years straight, it's what you do.
It's funny because there's many people that would see investing as very, really uncomfortable, but then there's many investors that see doing nothing as uncomfortable.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm more in that category.
It's like the identity, like we identify as investors. Like when somebody asks me what I do, I'm like, I invest in property.
Yeah.
And so like I've now created a story that is who I am, but then at some points in time, like sometimes sitting on the sidelines is the best thing to do, especially when you're carrying as much debt as you and I have been carrying as well.
Yeah, big time.
Like it's not like we haven't been given it a true nudge. So obviously, you know, what does the next 12 months, like if you don't have the 5-year goals and you've got these big overarching plans, like how do you get to the point where you can buy 3 kids a house and pay off 3 houses? You know what I mean?
That's a good question. So my situation, right, is I've got a wife and 3 kids. I've just got my dream home. Like I've been working to this home for 20 years. Like I knew this is what I wanted. It's just taken a long time to figure out how to get it.
With a low debt position.
Yeah, exactly. And then, you know, my dream has always been to have a compound of like family at my property. So right now to be grandparents. In the future, if my kids want to come back and raise their families there, that's what I want to do. Like that's something that to me would make my life feel so full as I get older. Like grandkids are there, kids have mad houses, but they probably won't want to. Like I would have moved away from that no matter what my parents put me in. I would have just needed to fly, and you're the same. Like it's just not in our nature.
But we've both come back as well, and like
I hope they want to come back.
Having the place where you're welcome, there's space, you know, it's yours. Like we both had the comfort from our parents, but your in-laws as well. Like very, very fortunate, my in-laws as well. It's just like knowing that like if we did make some huge mistakes and like lost everything, we'd always have the ability to go back to mum and dad's, and you know that's still to this day is something that both of us have the ability to do, and like to provide that for our kids and our grandkids as well.
I said this to mum the other day because she's like moving into one of these properties and she's really like it's hers, like she's making it her own like she would, and that's going to be the coolest thing for her. But she's like, you know, if things get really hard because there's like 100 avocado trees on the property, we can just do an avocado farm. I'm like, if things get really bad, Mum, I'm selling this. And in her mind, she's like, what? Like, this is my home now. And like,
good.
I'm like, I love it, but
you'd have to sell a lot of avocados.
I do what needs to be done to like look after my family. I've done 19 properties now over the last 15 years, and I've sold pretty much all of them now. Like I'm really not sitting on many properties at this stage of the cycle. We have this business, and like most of the time in my day-to-day life, like I genuinely am just looked after, blessed, and have the life that I want because I've been lucky enough to be born when I was born in the family that I was in, into the country that I was in, into Sydney and the sunny coast, and then
your unique DNA as well.
I just busted my ass too, and then I've spent like philosophy is another thing that I love that I like. It gets accidentally blended into this, and I know you love it too.
Yeah.
And I've spent most of my time, like more time on that, or
Yeah.
as much time on that as I have real estate,
investing,
and business. And so it's like they're my 3 loves.
Yeah.
And so
I would say books wise, you've probably read more philosophy books than investing books.
10 times more.
Yeah.
And everything I listen to is
way more complicated because it's not tangible either.
Yeah, until you see the pattern in it, like you're doing property and business, and then it's like, oh, there's a very similar thread.
Which we'll talk about in a moment.
But I genuinely do like my life. So that's sort of like my situation. And I've just gone through a really hard month, a really hard week where I was like swearing my head off in the office literally last week because I was just fucking over this thing that was going on. And like, I'm just an idiot. But in my normal life, when I'm actually like aware of like myself. Like I genuinely do like my life.
It's funny, right, as well. It's like there was a lot of things screaming at you as well. Like your body was like, bro, just settle down.
I
And like,
know.
but at the same time, when you're so in that place, it's really hard to see
Woods from the trees.
the trees from the forest exactly. So, you know, how have you gotten past that? Like,
Just stop
what are
being
some
an
of the
absolute
things?
idiot. Like, firstly, like recognition of being a tosser is like the first. Awareness is always 80% of it, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is.
It's like I don't need to be in this fight that I'm choosing to be in right now at all.
And I can relate as well because like I just had this big peak and a big fall over the weekend after it. But as you said, like I had this period where I took, you know, I was working like 2 to 3 hours a day, 3 to 4 days a week for like 6 weeks, and you know tested what that felt like, and it was really nice with my son and everything. But then come back in and just you know did the complete opposite, doing like 9 hour days, 4 to 5 days per week, and just, you know, really going as hard as I possibly can. And, you know, I
And that
wish
doesn't like.
people,
There's a lot of people listening to this that are like,
it doesn't sound hectic.
because I like the dude. I had lunch with one of our clients on Friday that came up, and he works 14 hours a day plus a 2 hour commute. I know there's people out there listening to this, but when you're physically on the phone giving someone every single piece of yourself that you have for 9 hours or 6 hours, it's so fulfilling, but it's also very taxing. And that's sort of, unless you've experienced it, I know there's a lot of people that have, like the days and the hours that we work are short, but they're so high impact and so intense and so detailed in terms of the property stuff that it has wear and tear. Like a athlete, like just playing 4 times a week has wear and tear.
Exactly. And, you know, I couldn't think of anything else because, like, I am a high achiever and I prefer to be busy rather than quiet. Like, I'd prefer to be I'd prefer to be working really hard rather than twiddling my thumbs and trying to find things to do. But, you know, it's a blessing as well that so many people are wanting to reach out and have these types of conversations at the moment as well. So, you know, there's an obligation to be like, well, I need to help these people and you know, I want to make sure that I can do my part to help. But then
Looking
my
after
son,
yourself and relaxing as well is so important, and resting, recovering.
that's it. My son was so sick, and you know, he was making life really hard as kids do for every single parent out there, and you know, that was taxing as well. So I was like working really hard, and then you know, going home to a really hard home life as well, for a few weeks there, and so yeah, just kind of coming out, and then I had this like, I was selling the property, settlement was coming, bank account was about to go up, was sort of looking at being able to start that next stage of the renovations, and I was all excited, and then it happened, and then I'm like, oh, nothing changes. And then I have this big crash, and like it was just an intense, I guess, few days, but then recognizing it on the Sunday, having a bit of a vent, and then just, you know, waking up early on the Monday morning, I'm like, okay, well, let's do what you say you want to do. Like, live with grace and be the light in people's world and step into action, and don't like let these things hold you back from being the person that you are, and just coming back to those things that we all know work, like, you know, gratitude practice, prayer, journaling, breath work, cold plunging, exercising, you know, eating good quality food. Like those 7 things, if I do 3 to 5 days a week,
Changes your whole life, eh?
changes the whole life and just reduces all those things. But I think it's less than that. It's really just one of them or two of them, the gratitude and or prayer. That alone just forces you to think about all the blessings that you have. And then it makes all of those challenging things that we experience in life feel so much softer.
Without a doubt.
So like everybody's going through their version of things, and you know, it's just life gets intense sometimes, and you just got to take stock, become aware of it, step into action and move forward. So anyway, sorry to hijack there
No,
for
I
a little
love
bit, but
that,
it's just in relation to how you've been. It's like, it's not just you. Like I think a lot of people have been experiencing the same thing, and I don't know what that is. Is it the cycle? Is it, I don't know, some other stuff like astrology or whatever, you know?
Look, the world is cooked right now and everyone knows it.
Yeah.
Like, this isn't how we're supposed to be. We're supposed to be people of character. We're supposed to be strong in our decisions towards the people we're created to be. We're supposed to be living a joyful, abundant life. And post COVID, they hooked us. They got us good. Like they really figured out how to scare us again, and they'd forgotten how to do that for a while, since September 11 probably.
Yeah.
And they remembered how that media cycle can do that. And that's okay. Like the worst times in my life, when I've been having the hardest times, is when I actually come out the best. And it's like I'm seeing all sorts of cracks of positive light in the world. I don't care about the religious side at all. I'm purely talking about people being good people, people caring, people trying, people wanting and believing they can have more.
Yeah.
Because that is the start of it all. Like, I believed that I could have a life that could be financially free. Like, I was talking to my gardener yesterday. He's 21. He's the biggest legend of all time. And I've never really talked to him too much, like, about his personal life. But I said, oh, man, I'm sorry. I heard you just busted up with your missus. My wife had talked to him, and he's like, yeah. I'm like, and then he's like, I just moved here from Emerald. And I'm like, oh, do you know anyone? He's like, man, I know no one. And I'm just sort of working my ass off. And he's like, I've been listening to all this financial freedom stuff. And he's like, I'm buying 120 grand a year worth of stocks, 2 grand a week at 21. He's like,
Crazy, right?
and I'm like, dude, I just felt like, as a human being, like, so fucking inspired by this kid, like, so inspired firstly. And he's like, he's got no one to talk about. He's exactly like me. Like, the people that he's listening to online are closer to him than the people in his real life. And he really has no one, because he's very introverted and he's young, and he's surpassed everyone. Like I did, like you did, like everyone listening to this does. Like, you get to a point where it's like you outgrow people in the way that you think about finances. And fortunately, when you do that, once you get the health and financial sides of your life sorted, everything else changes completely.
It's just asking that question and having that connection and
Yeah.
communication with other people.
And I'm shocking at that. Like, you're so good at it, but I'm really bad at
These
so
days
many
I'm
people.
worse.
So many people hit us up that I'm just like,
Got to protect ourselves.
sometimes the, like, not the best of me goes to my friends and family, because I'm like, I'm talked out.
Yeah. Can relate, but it's like, I think everybody should do that. Like, yes, it's nice that we can have those relationships online with, quote unquote mentors, and that might be through YouTube videos, podcasts, social media, whatever. But having those meaningful in-person connections is so undervalued and so important, and it's what the world's missing. And it's obviously the flow-on effect of COVID and just spending more time online. And I think, like, if everybody can just try and, like, step out of that and go, like, actually look somebody in the eyes and ask them a question about themselves, and then see what can spark from that. Like, you go down to a local coffee shop these days, and it's like, yeah, you might see some of the old people there that are chatting away, but most people are just in and out on their phone, waiting for their coffee order and getting out of there. They're not communicating with everyone. They're choosing to, like, scroll on their phones as opposed to have a meaningful connection with someone. It's like, how can we get back to, like, what it used to be, where it's like you'd go to the coffee shop and you'd have a chat to the local. You'd actually get to talk about people and be like, the whole "are you okay" thing. It's like that started for a reason, and it works.
I'm proud of the cracks that are starting to show that are going to, in 5 to 10 years, transform the world for better.
Yeah.
Because they're coming fast now, and there's some really incredible people, which I'd talk about offline, that are doing crazy stuff that I can see that is very, very positive for, like, the future. But, in terms of the other question you asked, like, my goals. So how do you have a goal but not have a goal? Like,
Yeah.
it's a paradox. I absolutely am crystal clear on the parts of my life. I'm just not putting the pressure of it has to be this way. And I'm waking up every morning and I'm going, I surrender, lead me, because I got no idea.
Yeah.
Like, I've done it on my own for 40 years, but I wasn't on my own. I had family, friends, and other things helping me, but I just keep messing it up. So I'm just getting out of my own way now. It's kind of like I surrender. I wake up. You've seen me do it, and you've heard me talk about it. I just literally have an exercise where I, like, lean backwards, fall into the pool, and I'm like, I surrender, and then I float and I practice letting go, because I'm like, I'm such a control nut that, like, I have so much issues letting go of stuff that
You got to force yourself to.
yeah. And I'm not talking about relationships or past. I have trouble letting go of just anxiety, wanting to be on everything, wanting the mad routines and the health and the good business and
It
the,
is.
like, you know, it's a
It is a paradox though, because like you do that, you say surrender, but then you still are doing the things as well. It's like you still got the morning routine, you still got the
100%.
like work schedule, you still got the
Yeah.
like all of these different
It's
things.
so structured. It's like Steve Jobs style. It's like, yeah, I wear the same shit every day. I do the same routine. I do like all that stuff. And it's so funny. Like I let go of how it's going to go, the expectation of result.
The outcome.
And then I just show up. Like
Yep.
I loved what you said before, like focusing on, what was your language? Focus on the activity.
Just step into action
Step
is what
into
I like
action.
to
So
say. Just stepping into
just
action.
do the thing. Like who says that great at the moment? Hormozian
Yeah.
and
Chris Williamson.
Chris, just do the thing. Like I went and saw Chris recently, and he's like talking about the thing's not the thing.
Studying the thing ain't the thing. Like reading about the thing ain't the thing. It's just like do it.
And the thing is for me,
A lot of things.
this thing, like this is the thing. So the thing for me right now that I'm working towards in all of my actions and mindset is I want to own my own dream home outright. And I think that's a Australia-wide thing. Everyone should try and own a home that they love.
Get that
outright.
title deed, baby.
Yeah. Or this time I'll probably keep some bank debt because leverage is good.
Yeah.
I got the title deed of my current home and I'm like, shit, I can't use equity.
Yeah.
And sometimes you want to like,
There's got to be a goal towards it though. Like, and the
own it
reason
in offset or title deed, whatever.
And the reason for that is like, you know, for all those folks out there that, you know, when we're on 1 to 2% interest rates, like life's good. You know, we have a lot of
Bring that
disposable
back.
income, but then out of no fault of our own, we change that to a 6 or 7% interest rate. And it's like all of our disposable income, all of those extra savings that used to go to like improving our lifestyle, our quality of life is now going straight to the banks. So it's like you do have to take control of that, but absolutely, like, because you've got the investment mindset, you obviously
Yeah, I
value
don't spend my
that.
savings. So like, cause I don't spend savings, I can have cash.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of clients that I'm just straight up like, hey bro, P&I that shit.
Yeah.
Get that title deed because
Yeah.
without it, you'll spend that shit.
Yeah, yeah. I could probably be more in that camp.
Yeah, well, we all can be. Like I've been on a spending spree since I got back from around Australia as well, which the budget's getting tight. The second thing for me is my family, what I call lifestyle. So I do want Fridays off. I do want to work basically school hours Monday to Thursday, which is very tricky for me. Like it never happens,
No.
but I aspire to that one day. And I also aspire to one day being able to take most of the school holidays off with the kids, or if not the whole school holidays, a week for the 3 smaller ones and like a good 4 to 6 weeks off over Christmas. Now, I've had that goal for 5 years and it's just a work in progress. It's just tricky when you've got real things to do.
The ebbs and flows of life, you don't know when they're going to come.
But that's what I'm working towards. And then travel is super important to me. So my goals are caravan trips for long weekends, bigger caravan trips every now and then, 2 overseas holidays a year, 1 to Bali or somewhere like Bali, and then 1 bigger one, like a Europe or America. So that's what I want. Like, I also aspire to like a simple life. Like, my life is fast with a lot going on in it, but I also really aspire to like the books that I've read, like slow and rest, and like I'm happiest when I'm just walking around in the sun in my own property with bare feet, on my own or with my kids, just chilling out. Like there's nothing better for me than like
Collecting firewood, picking fruit, picking nuts.
I
like,
love that
How
shit.
good's that going to be?
Yeah, and that's
Building
when I'm happiest.
cubbies, building bike jumps.
That's all the stuff that I love doing, and that's what I said. Number 5 is just I am like a monster homebody of like Clarkson's farm life, like sun, picking shit, growing stuff, like having friends around like we used to do every single Sunday or whatever, and just doing a workout, having a mad healthy chat, maybe some good food. Every second Friday, like having a big pizza night at the outdoor pizza oven that we've got, and like with our families, surfing, like, and then the other goal is just health wise, be fitter than I've ever been in my life, like by Christmas. And I'm very actively working on not what I think I should do, but what I need to do for that right now, like in terms of like putting in the things.
Yeah, I love it.
Business is very simple. I have only one value and vision, and that is to deeply, deeply, deeply care for the 3 to 4 people we choose to work with each week.
Yeah.
I think this week we got 32 people reach out so far.
Yeah.
I'm going to choose to work with 3 of them, maybe 4 of them with you. Who are those people? People that have a desire to change their lives forever and their families' lives for the better, and just kind, decent people. Investments, this one's bigger, and I'll talk about my actual plan in a moment, but I might save that actually. I'll talk about that in a sec.
So like, what is holding you back from being able to achieve those goals then?
Nothing.
Yeah.
Not at all.
It's all in your control.
It's all in my head.
Yeah.
It's not in my control at all. None of this is in my control. I could just walk out and get hit by a car this Harvey. Like
Let's hope
that's a
not.
real thing, man. Like, we're all going to die.
Yeah.
None of this is in my
Harsh
control.
reality.
The difference between old Ben is like, I would have drove myself insane to achieve that. Now it's like, that's my like vision. That's my like mantra. That's what I'm putting out into the universe to attract.
Yep.
That's what a dream would look like. But if it doesn't work out, I'll be cool. And I'm aware, man. Like, people just, it doesn't always work out. Like, I've talked to hundreds of people that have gone bankrupt, broke, investments got destroyed, partners just bounce, partners cheat, something comes along health-wise, like, stuff happens.
Yeah.
I mean,
Curveballs will be thrown, but at the end of the day, like,
I'm putting it out like I'm going to live forever though, and it's all going to work out.
That's what I was going to say. I'm like, you're not living as though worst case scenario is going to be your most likely scenario.
I'm living like I'm going to 115 and living 3 centuries. That's my actual long goal.
That's the whole manifestation. That's the whole, like, I can design my life, which I do believe. Like, you listen to a lot of very influential individuals, may that be a business person, an investor, a sports person, anybody that you look up to, and they all have similar traits. Like, number one is, like, they all have said what you said, like, I surrender, I realize that I'm not in control and I'm just a vessel.
I'm a punter here right now floating through.
But they also realize that, like, I can design my life. I think about, like, some of the things that Tom Brady has said, like, when he's visualized the night before the Super Bowl, the last 2 minutes being 6 points down and driving his team through and scoring that touchdown to win the Super Bowl again. And it's just like, he visualized it and felt the win before it had even happened, and then when, like, the reality came up, he actually was in a position to be able to do it. So it's like a very common theme that people have with this designing and manifestation and planning for the future, because at the end of the day, like, you can't be the pessimist and think, I could just go get hit by a car, so what's the fucking point?
No, that's exactly it. And it's like, I'm a realist, but I don't live like one at all. Like,
Yeah.
I live like a utopian vision of the world. Like, I truly believe that things are getting better for myself and for everyone that I care about and for the world. I believe that things are going to improve. I believe tomorrow will be better than today. I believe that the future will be better for the whole world than tomorrow than it is now. I believe all of this technology is going to be the greatest thing that ever happens for humans. Like, I think I'm so optimistic, but I'm also aware of, like,
How the world works.
samsara, suffering, life and death.
Yeah.
It's a real thing.
It's absolutely real, and you can't be ignorant to the fact, because everyone experiences it. Unfortunately, some people just lean too far on one side or the other.
Like, I read a book a while back called Strength to Strength, after hearing this guy Arthur Brooks talk to Oprah on the Super Soul podcast, and there was this, I won't go too into it because it's pretty morbid, but there was this Buddhist death visualization, and it's basically a crazy process where you, like, because a lot of the monks in their temples have, like, their friends who have died in front of them, dead and rotting, so that they recognize, like, Steve Jobs had it walking up his stairs, like, you are going to die. I can't remember the language, but like, Elon Musk has it too. Just a true recognition that, like, one day it's going to be over, and so live this day. It's a presence thing. It's a making the most of this moment. But this book, long story short, got you to do, it was pretty sick actually, got to do this, you've died, you're at your funeral, everyone's saying goodbye, you're in the coffin, you're in the ground, and you're just turning to dust. And I did it, and then it's like, now open your eyes at the end. It's a Buddhist thing, and they do it regularly. And then I saw my body for the first time as it really was, alive, and I went, I'm fucking here. Like, I've just mentally gone through that, and it felt like I had. And then it's like, but I looked at myself and I'd never seen myself. Even when I look at myself now, I'm like, I seem so alive because I've seen myself as bones. And I know it's a twisted thing to say, but it's a very popular book. It's a New York Times bestseller. There's things like that I've done, which I'm not saying are right or wrong, but that just make me hyper aware of this moment. There's another really cool TV series that I watched with my wife about 5 years ago because I trained so hard and like sat at really, really low body fat for a lot of my life. I probably like developed like body dysmorphia. Like everyone thought, oh, you just look so healthy, and it's like, no, that's an eating disorder right there. I was like obsessed, and I watched this show called Bloom, and they find these little things in the garden, they eat them, they wake up, they're like 7-year-olds, they wake up the next day at 20 and 30, and they can run again, and they can play with their dog again, and they can like have mad sex again, and they can just train and live and just be free without pain. And as soon as I watched that, I'm like, I really got that this is the youngest I'll ever be. This is the best I'll ever be again, and stop being hard on yourself and just fucking go all in. And I have no plan B for this lifetime. I'm just going all in.
It's an intimidating concept to think about death in such a real, raw way. And
It's liberating too.
I'll be honest, I'm fucking shit scared of it because I love this world so much, and I am so attached to the relationships that I've got, and the material things that I've got, and the health and the vitality that I've got. Like I'm shit scared, but it's because I've done similar work where it's like I've thought about the reality of aging and losing those relationships to people dying, and then losing my vitality and not being able to do the things that I love doing, and then one day not waking up and not being on this planet. I hope it's a peaceful way for me to go, but for me, I kind of find it scary because I just haven't truly dealt with it yet. But it also does force me to live my best life today as well. It puts me back in the present moment and goes, well, it could be a lot worse. And then I hear people that are like, oh, I'm not worried about death, I'm not scared about it. I'm like, you just haven't thought about it enough.
Yeah, you haven't been in a car crash and half alive for 6 hours. Like, I don't think any of it, I don't want that reality. I'm not doing meditation on that. Let's just say that.
No.
I just want to be present. So where all of that came from, and sorry to be so morbid, like I know that's just the most twisted thing we've probably ever talked about on this podcast. Thanks, Arthur Brooks. I'm like throwing him under the bus. But I just feel like I spent a lot of my life time traveling into the future. There's this thing that I'm working with this trauma expert at the moment. It's called disassociation. It's like when you're here, but your mind is somewhere else. And that comes off the back of monster anxiety, doing too much, like so many people listening to this have. And I don't want to be disassociated. Like I want to be right here in this moment. And then when this is over, I want to be right in the next moment. And it's very difficult as a human being with emotions and chemicals and past and future and family and businesses and investing and friends to be in the pocket. But that's where I'm trying to live my life. Like great surfers sit in the pocket, great snowboarders do, great athletes do. And it's because they're visualizing, they're practicing, and they're just constantly taking action towards the betterment of themselves. And I don't know why, I just treat my whole life like that. And so do you. And so do most people listening to this. Like they're just nudging the bar up for no reason. It's not like anyone else gives a shit. And half the time, I don't even care if it goes up. It's just the game of doing it.
Yeah, it's like a challenge. Can you actually do it? Can you achieve the goal? Can you do the thing? And it's hard, but like I know there is things that hold you back as well. So like it's easy to say nothing for sure.
Yeah, nothing is actually holding me back, but plenty of things are really holding me back.
Yeah.
So there's a lot going on.
Awareness of these things is the first step to overcoming them, and it's what a lot of people are too scared to actually look themselves in the mirror and be like, oh, what has legitimately held me back? And, you know, we've got to look at our flaws if we want to improve them and become a better version of ourselves.
You know, what's holding me back is there's a fair bit going on right now, and that's a true reality. And the way that I choose to live, there's normally a fair bit of cool stuff going on. Living values day to day is very difficult for me. Like it's very easy for me to go hyper focused on one thing. at the expense of everything else. But that's not healthy or in balance or in alignment with the person I see myself as, or the character that I aspire to have, or any of that stuff. It's like my trap that I always fall into. It's like, fuck yeah, I'll just train my ass off for the next 12 weeks and hang out with my family. Oh, sheesh, I've taken the finger off the pulse of like our experience in this business. Let's fix that. Oh, I haven't invested for a little while. Like, let's really wrap my head around that again. And it's like seasonal, but I think there's no such thing as perfect balance of all of the things I want in my life on a day or weekly basis. But I don't have to just be one thing.
No.
That's a big challenge for me. Competing priorities pulling me in different directions is another one. End of cycle, and like getting excited to buy $500,000 of silver and then getting scared of doing anything. Like I'm probably sure on many people's minds right now. Should I not?
It's a roller coaster ride.
The thing is, it was very easy when I was earning 50 grand a year and could borrow 300. Now it's difficult with many options as well. And most of the people that I talk to that are earning combined household income of 200K a year plus find that they can buy anything they want, like within reason.
Yeah,
Like,
outside of maybe inner city Sydney.
I don't want to go buy a $20 million joint in Noosa because I
No.
can't afford it and it would bankrupt me.
Yeah.
And the banks would never give it to me anyway. But within my little realm of like 600K to $1.2 million properties, I can borrow. A lot of people can. So having options sometimes is like, well, do you go Perth or Queensland or Melbourne or Brisbane, or do you go gold or silver, like those things? And then after trip around Oz, the biggest thing for me that's changed is I see the game of it all now. I don't just see myself being a player in the game for the fun of it. I see all of this stuff as so meaningful and so completely not meaningful at all. And that's a weird thing to say. Like, I find meaning in my family, from doing the things that I love through helping other people. But in terms of like the mooring it, like why necessarily do more? Like the 24-year-old that wanted to be wealthy because he had a chip on his shoulder and he wanted to be free because he hated his job doesn't exist anymore. The 40-year-old that went around Australia and has been through so many bumps and bruises and been hammered and also had the most incredible lifetime just doesn't care as much anymore about owning 10 properties anymore, or being a fucking millionaire. I couldn't care less. I just want to be a good person living a good life.
When you talk to the game of it all, are you talking like Matrix sort of shit?
Not Matrix, but like that.
Like
It's like if he woke up but not in a fucking
Yeah.
robot bubble. He woke up in the real world and could see what was happening. And I can see it now. I'm like, I can see my ego, my identity transferring into this video right now. I can see when I'm with people, like their fear or their excitement or their anxiety masking itself as like all of the things that we project as. Like, I can see the structure of society of like, they literally just want us to work ourselves to death and numb ourselves so that we can be free in the future. And the control and all I can see now is like, why the fuck aren't we just kind to each other?
I know.
And it doesn't make sense, but I'm in it and I love the game of it.
It's just so noisy at either end of the spectrum, but it's like 10% at the top, 10% at the bottom, maybe another 10% on the buffer edges of that, but then like 60 to 70% in the middle. Like, everyone's just a nice person. Everybody just wants the best for one another. Like, like I was listening to Scott Galloway talk recently. It's like people just need to go out and meet strangers more often, and just realize that not everybody is a bad person. Like, actually, the vast majority of people are really good people. It's just where, like, you've got so much noise telling you that that's not the case. And like, I've done it. Like, I'll turn on the news and I can see it and I can feel it. And I'm like, oh my God, this is hectic.
Yeah, this is
People's
too much.
businesses are burning down, kids are dying, like, and then you open up to the global scale and all the crazy shit that's going on around the world right now. It's like,
We're literally
noisy.
starving people to death. And I think what I realized I think I was a bit jaded before I went around Australia from just like being such a pleaser and giver, and then so many people, like my perception of that, and then going around Oz, I didn't bump into one single human being that wasn't an absolute legend. And I realized that people aren't out to get each other. People aren't out there to hurt each other. There are some baddies, I get it. There's some, I've been a dickhead. You've been a dickhead. Like, it's different times in our lives we make mistakes, but not like as serious as some mistakes, thankfully, but like just doing stupid shit as kids and that. And then you go, well, these people are actually kind. And I kind of went, we all want the same thing. We want to try, even the people like me that struggle with our things, like we want to try and be better. Like we want to try and be a good parent. We want to try and be a friend. Like we want to try and look after the people. We want to try and have meaning. We want to try and be healthier. We know better. It's just harder to do better. And
everyone wants to climb up the pyramid. Like everyone wants to get closer to the top of Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Like every single person wants that for themselves and their immediate family and the people around them.
And that's what I realized. Like people are good. People are kind. People just, when you show your best, like it's either really poorly reflected because it puts a spotlight on someone that's like wants to hide, or 99.9% of people want to show their best back. And I'm like, you can't
It's just hard.
fight fire with water. It just doesn't work.
And it's just hard to break these like habits and these chemical reactions in our brain that have been there for who knows how long, millions of years, some would say. Where it's like we did have, like there was a reason why we had to shine such a big light on the challenges that we face and the things that could potentially kill us. So we just have we've got such a predisposition to focusing on the negative and focusing on the bad things. It's just the things that we perceive to be bad these days aren't going to kill us.
They're not bears.
They're not bears. They're not tigers. They're not like another tribe coming to come get you. It's just like, who knows? You name it. X reason.
It's interesting, man, because this is how I describe it, and this is really the first time I've tried to articulate it online, but these are the things that like we talk about offline. Like I will continue to invest, but I won't continue to invest to be at the pub and go, I've got 10 properties. I won't continue to invest because I wanted more than I had. I won't continue to invest because it's just what I do and it's a part of my self. I will continue to invest because I'm not there. Like I'm nowhere close to being at a place where everything's going to be completely rosy in the future. It would be if I sold my home, but I want to live in my home. And so like I will invest because like survivally, I need to. I will invest because I want to buy my kids some stuff. I will invest because I want to keep giving to the Everyday Foundation. I will invest because I love it. I fucking love it. And this is the thing, like I'm aware of what it is and the trap of it, but I just enjoy it. And I don't enjoy it in the way that I used to. I enjoy it in looking at 4,000 suburbs and finding one needle in one haystack and then getting the deal of a lifetime at the bottom of a market that's going to set me up forever for the game of that. Like I will invest in other things because it makes sense to. Like I will try and have a business where we care and help every single person as much as we can. And if someone doesn't like us, then I can't help that. I've tried my best. But if we have a month where only one person a week wants to work with us, cool. And I'm not going to freak out about that. And if we have a business where 30 people want to work with us a week and we choose to work with 3, like I'm not going to flip out because like we couldn't work with everyone either. Like I'm doing it for such different reasons now, and I can't even verbalize it. It's very difficult, but I'm fully in it, but I'm fully out of it.
How will you invest?
That's an easier question to answer.
Yeah.
So this is my plan at the moment. In my super fund short term, I'm going to buy gold and silver as well as stocks up until I don't know timing at all. The world could literally crash tomorrow, or it could just go on for the next 10 years beautifully. Who knows? But I'm going to do that for a period of time to just get my money doing something for me, because right now it's sitting in cash and it's not even in a cash account that's getting me interest. Then my plan is to sell those gold and silver stocks when the stock market does its 30 to 50% drop, buy stocks. What my assumptions are based on the last cycle is gold and silver from this period until the first 2 years into last GFC did about 200% from now. Do not hold me on that or hang me on that. there is lots of different data out there around these things. And it's like, that's my interpretation, that I could do pretty well over the next 5 to 6 years on that. And then you could do very badly. If you don't get the timing right on commodities, you can lose 90% of your value in 3 weeks. It's a dangerous game to be in.
Yeah, and this podcast has never really told anybody how they should do things. It's just how we do things.
This is what I'm doing. So my intent
Take it all with a grain of salt.
I'll be in there for a little bit until the stocks bottom. I do want to be an index long-term trader. I love that if you buy the top 500 with iShares or with Vanguard, you get the top 500 companies that are constantly changing in the mix of your portfolio. And I love that. You get the NASDAQ and you get the bottom feeders as well.
It's a lot smarter than we are, let's say that.
Yeah, I'm like, I can't pick stocks for shit. So I'm just going to do that. But what I learned from looking at the history is if you bought in 2009, when it was roughly bottoming out, by 2012, 2.5 years later, it done 100%. Between 2012 and 2018, it did another 100%. 18 to 24, it did another 100. So my thoughts is if I can do okay...
24 to 26 might do another.
Who knows, yeah. Well, wouldn't that be nice? That would be cool for everyone. Like
it should.
That would be cool.
400 and some percent over a 14-year growth cycle, I think.
I looked at the 2005 to 2007 chart before it shit itself in America, and I didn't like what I saw. So I'm not going to try and be the dude that gets 100% on stocks right now, because I could be risky biz, but it did 18% this year. Who knows what's going to happen?
Yeah.
But that's my little plan. So get a little bit of gold and silver in super, get into the stocks when they bottom out, and continue to do my contributions. Now, I didn't have good advice from a financial advisor or accountant until probably 2.5 years ago.
Mm.
I'm a property dude. I don't know any of this other stuff, but these guys do.
Mm.
And I started to look at long-term charts and get my head around it, because I'm like, not all property is heading in the direction that I wanted it to be. It's getting expensive, the yields were getting lower, the building rates were getting higher. And so I started to look at things while I still invested in property. But I found out that I can put in $32,500 a year personally, and so can my wife, into super right now, according to my accountant, and pay 15 cents tax in the dollar. That's insane, because on all of my income above 190,000, I'm currently paying 45 cents in the dollar. So I'm going to continue on my accountant's advice when I can afford it, which some years, you've seen it in this business, I have $0 and everyone's getting paid. And some years I've got like enough to kick into super and that. And so it's like, it's an ebb and flow. But like when I've got the time, I'll kick that in. When I get a float, I'll dollar cost average into stocks. And that's going to be my long-term plan now. Buy the bottoms in stocks in general. Cool. Dollar cost average into the index long-term. Diversified index funds globally, even though the American one's the one that kicks ass.
Yeah.
And just buy when I can, and then buy the dips hard.
Yeah.
Like when it goes on sale at 20 to 50% below, I'll pick it up.
Yeah.
Knowing what I know over 100 years of data. Outside of super is I just bought my home, which is the most expensive property I've ever bought, and I owe a lot of debt on it. I've got to like slowly work towards my dream of paying it off. I'm preparing for the GFC. Like I actually spent...
I wonder what it'd be called next time around. It won't be the GFC.
It's not the GFC. I'm just calling it that until someone's got a better name. The dot-com bubble plus the Cuban
the
Missile
recession
Crisis
that we needed to have. Like
they'll have a cool
It'd
name.
be interesting. Depression 2.0.
How government's fucked us with debt.
Yeah.
I don't know what it's going to be. It might
be the government won't call it what it is.
The government detonated bomb.
It'd be interesting to see, because I've been like doing a fair bit of a deep dive into the whole fiat currencies and the downfall of the US dollar since Nixon, went off the gold standard to fiat currency. And a lot of really intelligent people that have studied history at a much deeper level than I have do see that the US is going to go into hyperinflation, and it's going to devalue the US dollar quite substantially, and it will be the beginning of the end of the United States being the global superpower, which is pretty hectic. Like, I've listened to a lot of different stuff, but I probably should have just rewatched the Ray Dalio video on YouTube for free. That's the Changing World Order video, where it talks about it in detail. So yeah, it'll be interesting.
Do you know
it's not just the end of the real estate cycle, it's the end of the long cycle at the same time as well.
Yeah, the K-wave's coming closer to the end. So in 2011, when I was in America, I could get $1 Australian and that $1 would buy me 97 cents.
US.
No, 97 cents Australian would buy me $1 dollar.
It was the same for me when I
The
first went.
Australian dollar was higher. So when people go the devaluing of the US dollar, at every end of 20-year cycle, it basically halves in value for a period of time. And then it recovers over time too. And so it's just important to know that, again, there's nothing new under the sun with the dollar halving in value relative to Australian or Japanese or the pound. It's just the natural, we overcooked our economy, and now it's got to go into some form of hyperinflation so that the person earning $5 an hour at Macca's with no tips can earn $10 next cycle. Like, that's all that's trying to happen with hyperinflation. It's like all goods are expensive. Wages have to hyperinflate to meet that. So when you and I were building houses before COVID, I could build a house for 300K, which normally cost me 600 grand. Before COVID, I was earning 150 grand a year. You were, just say theoretically. Now we're earning 200 grand a year. Our wages haven't come in alignment with cars, with houses, with electricity, with food. They've all doubled, but my wage has only gone up 30%. And so hyperinflation, I've realised, is the requirement to get wages back up to a meaningful standard of living where the average middle class person isn't spending $600 a week on fucking food when I'm earning $1,200 a week take home. That's the problem right now.
Because the goods aren't going to come down.
The goods will sit flat and wages need to hyperinflate up. And so, you know, Akil, you'll listen to his book. Hyperinflation, it's going to be the decade of hyperinflation. Like, we need a period where wages go up 3 to 4% a year and the goods and services sit flat so that we can actually afford to survive and buy them.
And it's not going to feel great.
It doesn't feel good.
But that's changed. Like, as we said, like, sometimes the hardest times end up being the best times where you learn the most about yourself and you course correct and you put yourself on the right path for the future. And it's like the world needs to go through some tough times as well, obviously, so we can course correct and head in the right direction. Hopefully as a collective, hopefully more as a globalized world, and where we don't have people in Gaza starving and parents not being able to feed their kids, like where we don't have all of these terrible atrocities that are happening around the world. Hopefully we start to see the rest of the world like we see our neighbours and our friends.
The tightest periods of history were after the most atrocious things. Like, think about World War One, the Great Depression, World War Two as a period. The 50s and 60s, like early 60s, were like the time of maximum peace because people just went, I've just lived and survived 25 years of hell on earth. Let's all just norm on our global values. Let's treat each other better. Let's like have a simple suburban lifestyle. Let's like have dinner parties with friends and keep it simple because like I know what
it could be.
What this will result in is us norming on what is our global order.
Yeah.
The New World Order is effectively a realigning of social norms towards the world we want to create.
Yeah.
And shit has to get pretty bad, unfortunately, before we all go, that's so wrong, that we all collectively re-agree on this 100 years later. Like if we just read Winston Churchill's book now that he wrote on let's never do this again after World War II, we would have the New World Order written.
Now.
It's just going to repeat back to like, let's look after each other. How hard is it?
Yeah, if only people didn't want control, power, resources so badly.
100%.
it would be all right.
Outside of that, property, outside my plan, outside of Super, is just bought the home. I'm preparing for the next GFC, which means simplifying, reducing debts, saving money. And then Melbourne property is my next step. That's 100% where I'm going.
Simple as that. There's
8
500 suburbs down there though. So like, what sort of areas do you see value in?
West Melbourne and southeast Melbourne exclusively.
Yeah. Obviously budgets matter as well because like it is a pretty diverse market being so huge down there as well. So like if you were to go in with say like a 600 to 800k budget, that would look different compared to if you had say like an 800k to $1 million budget.
Yeah, so that's a really good question. So if I had a 600k budget, I would go to somewhere like Melton in the northwest or Werribee in the west. Actually, Melton at 600, Werribee at 700, maybe somewhere north up to 850, And then if I had a mill to 1.2, then 100%
Down the
Frankston, southeast.
Yeah.
And those areas, like we've obviously been in that hardcore data-wise and then buying every week. And it looks as good as Brisbane did in 2019 and it looks as good as Sydney did in 2011 to me statistically. And it looks as good as Perth did back in 2021. Like it's not going to go quickly, but it's going to go at some point in the next 15 years, big time.
The only thing that we've got is history, and like if history repeats, it should be Australia's top performing market over the next 10 to 15 years. Metro market, there'll be a couple little suburbs or a little regional town that just goes ape. But like if we're just looking at trying to beat the averages, then, you know, it is so undervalued down there. What are your thoughts? Because I know a lot of people's question mark about Melbourne is like, oh, but what about the land tax? And what about like paying more stamp duty on a property down there right now? What's your opinions?
Stamp duty, you know, Melbourne, if it was its own sovereign country, would be like Greece right now. It'd probably be almost bankrupt, I've heard. But thankfully, we've got WA selling everything and Queensland selling a bit of stuff overseas as well. So it's like propping it up. But, you know, it makes sense. Like, how do we pay off a huge deficit? We increase stamp duty by 25% compared to Queensland. So on a 750k property, it'd be just under 30k in Queensland. It'd be like 42 in Melbourne. About 12 grand more to buy down there. Holding wise, they have a little land tax compared to Queensland. Like, Queensland's just got a threshold, so it starts later. But when you and I worked out the holding costs with Pam, one of our team members, in the last week, we found that the difference between a 750k property and $1 million property in Melbourne versus Brisbane might be less than $1,000 a year. Yeah. So the cost of holding them is almost identical. It's just the holding costs differ in the percentages across the board.
Yeah, I've found that it seems to be more of a story than a reality as well, but we'll have to wait and see if it impacts, because it has impacted the property market down there over the last 5 years, and you know, but when we look at the history, it's kind of normal for it to underperform for a 5 to 10 year period after it cranks and doubles over a 10-year period before that. So it does seem normal, but it'd be interesting to see how it influences moving forward. And you know, my personal opinion, and I've got nothing to back this, is just one guy's opinion. It's like one of two things will happen. The rest of Australia will adopt that because they'll be like, oh my God, look at how much money Victoria's making.
People accepted it, will do it.
And it still positively impacted the economy and the market down there. Or some new politician will come into Victoria and change it.
And the reality is they're letting 500,000 people in a year right now. And because building, I'm an investor that loves building. So I've built 7 houses. I've renovated every single property that wasn't a build. And I've built granny flats and subdivisions on top of that. Like my preferred strategy is to renovate and build and add value like everyone's is. Like, remember 10 years ago when we could all do that? Like, I can't wait for that time to come back around where you buy the shitty joint, you spend 50 to 100 grand fixing it and you make 200. Like, bring on renovation investing again. Like, all of those shows that used to be on TV.
Yeah, the best
Where
shows.
are they? Like,
I want them back. The Block just got, like, had its last season.
Because you can't speculate and flip anymore.
No.
Like, people like, that was beautiful, but this isn't a reality. I can't make money doing what they do.
So I sold a property in Margate 12 months ago for $700,000. They obviously would have had to pay stamps on that, which would have been around about 30k per year. It wasn't rented out over the last 12 months either, so you'd imagine they've paid another 25, 30
like
grand
you and me, then had 20%
interest. So
yep.
Now that they're into it for about 760, 780 over the last 12 months.
Before fixing.
And then they've renovated it, full cosmetic renovation, upstairs, downstairs, externally. And because we're in the industry, we've got friends and family that work in the construction sector. I know that renovation is minimum $150,000.
At least.
Minimum. So now we're talking about these guys being into it for, you know, almost $900,000, probably $900,000, and they're trying to sell it for $950 12 months later. And it's like, then they've got to pay agent fees on that, which is another 20k. So now they're into it for $930. So
and capital gains on that 20 grand that they make at the end.
All of that work, all of that risk, all of that money to maybe walk away with $15,000 to $20,000 net profit over 12 months. It's just like 8 years ago, you probably could have made 100 to 200 grand in 12 months in doing that.
Easy.
But 2025, you just can't do it. So you can't flip property. So my personal opinion is like buy to land bank, like buy good quality locations, intend to hold for the long term, but be able to manufacture value. Now you can't necessarily do that in a super fund if you plan to invest there, but with your own money and with your own name, you can like renovate over time to add value. You can, add granny flats to add depreciation and cash flow. You can build duplexes and like when you're letting in 500,000 people a year, you've got to incentivize private investors to bring new supply to the market. They just have to do it. So rezoning will change. They will make it easier for people to develop blocks. So this is where it is at the moment to try and manufacture that. But yeah, fast forward 5, 6, 7 years, there'll be good opportunities to make better short-term money.
Big time. Like it's all just the way that it rolls around Australia. And I think the simplest thing with it all is if you can understand how to find the market that other people are undervaluing before. Like if you're a stock tipper, everyone goes, oh yeah, like buy that, Ray Dalio, for example, through
Value investing.
Bridgewater in January this year bought $317 million worth of gold. Gold prices since then have gone up 38%. Like the guy knows what he's doing. That's value investing in commodities.
12 months prior to that, it did so well as well. So he's not necessarily buying it at the true bottom, but he could see what was
12
coming.
months before that, he probably bought 500 million. And this man's a market maker too. But what I'm saying there is, in gold, yeah, Ray Dalio can pick a gold stock. And he's not buying physical gold. He's just buying the code that you and I can jump on CBA today and buy. He, when Warren Buffett picks up Google or I don't think like Apple or whatever, everyone's like, oh, he must have seen value at that company at that time. It's like, it's so normal, but for property, for some reason, we don't say that we can do that. And it's like, if you look at the 10-year growth rates and you choose the capital city or the regional market with the lowest average growth per year for 10 years, that is all Ray's doing with gold. That is all Warren's doing with stocks. That's all we're trying to do with property. I'm not putting ourselves in that category. We're absolute punters. That sounded so bad. But I mean, that's how we pick markets. And I'm getting people at the moment going, why would I buy Melbourne? And I'm like, I'd prefer to buy Townsville. I'd prefer to buy Darwin. I'd prefer to buy Perth or Brisbane. And I'm like, Brisbane I agree with. The others will run. But what I want is when 95% of Aussies are writing off Melbourne because of land tax, because of stamp duty, because it hasn't done well. It's going to do extremely well, but people want to win this year. They want to make 10, 20% this year instead of going, I'll make 100% over the next 12 years.
To round it out, like I think it's kind of interesting, your journey as an investor. Like you spent 15 years just like obsessing about residential real estate and only investing in residential real estate. Like, you could say yes, business as well, but your business is in residential real estate as well.
Like you are help people do
100% all in for the last 15 years into one thing. But now the next 15 years looks completely different. Business still there, residential real estate still there, but now starting to diversify a lot more. And I've talked to a lot of older investors that have got a lot of experience and they understand the power of diversification and how you should allocate certain percentages of your net worth into different areas. And it's just like interesting to hear that you're now getting to that point throughout your journey as an investor now as well. Like, do you have a thought on that as well?
Residential real estate is still going to be 85, 90% of what I do because I don't know how to leverage stocks or commodities, and that scares the shit out of me as well. Like if a bank comes and margin calls and goes, hey, it just dropped because you didn't put your stop loss on because you don't know how to do one. You owe us $1 million right now. I'd be like, well, I don't have $1 million. So I will use residential real estate that is well timed within Australia to speculate. People call it investing, it's speculating. It's hoping that it goes up in value and you've got no idea or control if it will, but we do have history and you and I have obsessively looked at it. So I will move my money between Sydney, Wollongong, Central Coast, Gold Coast, Sunshine Coast, Brisbane and Melbourne, probably Geelong and Mornington Peninsula. Like that is where I'm going to focus on. And then Perth for that 3 to 4 years every 20, I'll get my little slice of Perth. I'll do that because I know how to do it. it's safe to enter the markets when they've done nothing for 10 years. It's very risky to enter them when they've doubled in the last 7 or last 10. Not risky, but it just cuts your ability to make, medium-term growth as easily. And then I'm just going to keep chipping away because I have always loved stocks. It's just the first book I picked up was Robert Kiyosaki's and John McGrath's, and they were real estate guys. I wonder if I picked up Buffett's and
For sure.
Dalio's, I'd be
Yeah.
a stock guy.
Yeah.
I'm super, super, super suited to invest because I don't get emotional at the tops or bottoms of markets. When other people are running away from something, I'm happy to run towards it or sit in the uncomfortableness. When other people are running towards it, I'm actually generally frightened, and I don't actually like it. I love the markets when we see value and other people don't. My temperament is just because I have a light and a darker side of my personality in terms of high emotions and low emotions. I can see when other people are up artificially and I'll be aware, and then when I'm hyper up and other people are down, I'm I get that yin and yang in investing. I like the idea of diversification. I also like the idea after having tenants burn down houses, governments put up stamp duty, governments put in land tax. What is going to continue to happen is government is a beast anywhere in the world that wants more and more control, but even more and more, they just want the revenue from property. They don't even care about the control. They just want bucks so that they can have continually more bums on seats. And we get the benefit of hospitals, schools,
100%.
roads, trains, everything in Australia.
There's a reason that over 13,000 millionaires move to Australia every single year. The second most amount globally move into Australia. The first is the UAE, and it's because of all of the amazing things that our government does spend the money on. We should just be taxing the natural resources sector so we have even more.
And that's the simple solution. That is really the solution. It's we've got these beautiful
Don't
things
tax the
under
private
the
investors like me. tax the wealthy miners.
Just cut us all at 30% and go, that's enough. Business tax,
everyone,
income tax.
except for low income earners.
Yeah, and if you're earning less than 100 grand a year, you pay no tax.
Yeah.
Or something. But you can't set up trusts and then have yourself at 100K when your business is making $2 million a year. Or you can't have Apple in Ireland with $250 billion cash in the bank and paying 0% tax. How's that good for anyone in the world?
No, exactly. It should be, I guess, more even, but it's another... That's another conversation with a much smarter person that we might need on here.
To answer your question though, I'll continue to do this because I like it, and I'll diversify because with Australian residential real estate, there'll always be something more to learn. If I wanted to become a developer, there'd be a lot more to learn. There'll always be better numbers, better data. The person that gets used to what they're doing is the person that dies. In every sport, in every business, in any industry, Kodak, we don't need digital. It's huh? Sony, these incredible brands that don't even exist in the same way anymore had to completely reinvent themselves. Like the dude from Netflix going to Blockbuster. Trying to do a digital thing. No, CDs are where it's at. It's this guy made an extra $1 billion a week.
Adapt or die.
And so I'll keep learning, but I'm now at the point with Resi property where I'm I've seen a full cycle from the very bottom of a GFC into the top of the next one. I've been through COVID. I've made every mistake an investor can make with my own money, not looking at someone else's. You've seen it, how many mistakes I made in the 10 years that you've been with me.
And that's why you're so clear on the markets, the time, the type of properties that you're going to be buying within those markets, because you know what not to do. So there's huge benefits in making those mistakes, because now it just is so simple with property that it's I've got this additional capacity to entertain the idea of stocks and commodities because this part is so simple now. And it's I'm only self-sabotaging by not following those lessons that I've learned over 15 years of experience.
Yeah, and that's what I have a tendency to do.
Everyone does.
It's just when I break the things that I know are cardinal rules in property, my results suffer massively. And it's I'm sick of doing that. I will not do it anymore. No. For emotion.
Well, when you've got these big goals for the future, you just can't afford to do that anymore.
Yeah, it's all of these things are time away from my family. And this is how seriously I take investing for our clients. to learn the things that we've learned. We're both 20, 30,000 hours into this now because we physically did it for 40 to 60 hours a week for 10 years and then just did it in our free time. And I did it even before that. And it's like, I will not trade my time away from best practice, like, because it works. And it's like, I've even heard Ferrari as a brand, for example, if people chop up their cars, they will physically sue them because it's like, that is perfection and you're wrecking it. Even though it might look cooler, it's like you've just destroyed art here.
Wow.
And it's like, I look at investing and the way that we do it for our clients, and clients are constantly like, why are you doing it that way? It's like, because I don't want you to waste this day away from your family and cost yourself 30% over the next 10 years, which could be 300 grand for you or 50 grand for you. And I don't want you to be working in this job you hate anymore. Like, let's just follow the rules. And I need to do the same in my own portfolio because I get shiny, excited, stoked, FOMO, all the same emotions, but I'm just like, I will not put my money towards that stuff anymore. I'll only buy 500k versus gold of silver without looking at it properly and thinking about it. You know what I mean? Like, I'm still an idiot. I'm just talking
it's funny how life happens as well. It's like thinking about doing that and then having the conversation with our client who's like an incredible investor in that space. And it's like the odds of having that conversation in that week is just wild to think. And it's like, oh, thank God, and you just got to trust the process, right? And trust, the universe, God, whoever you want to chalk it up to be. But like, everything is conspiring for you. And it's like, just notice those little things, like when you stumble across that YouTube video or you have that random interaction with somebody at the barbecue or at the pub or at the kid's birthday party, whatever it is. It's like, things happen for a reason, and sometimes you just got to get out of your own way and trust it.
There's a question that I wrote down that I saw online last week, and paraphrasing it, it was like, what's that like soft voice or that thing that's niggling you towards the future that you're supposed to have? Like, and that is a question that I've been asking myself in the last week. Like, what am I hearing? And this was so helpful today, by the way, bro, because a lot of it was noise in my head and physically having to sit down and think about what I really want. Like, I know what I want. It's in the notes in my phone, but having to think about, what am I really doing it for? What do I like? Putting it pen to paper versus like technically just is
the why, the how, the when.
But yeah, like the voice that I keep hearing is like, the world is conspiring for you. Like, it is okay to be joyful and have financial freedom and be healthy and have a cool home and a nice caravan and be generous and have friends and do things that are amazing. Like, it's not this all or nothing. It's like Ryan from On Property used to always say to us, how can you have this and that and that? He got it so much earlier than us. And it's just that. It's like, I genuinely want a full life. I want to be the man in the arena that ends up banged up at the end of my life because I had a crack. For me and many people listening to this, it's harder to not become who you're supposed to be than it is to do the opposite of that. Like, the thought of not growing, of not improving, of not investing better, of not learning this stuff, it's just like, why not? Like, why not?
It's easy. That's why. Like, I think it's easy to bury your head in the sand and, fall prey to bad habits and
which we
like,
both do regularly.
It's so easy. Like, it's the easier option. Like, even when I was going through my weekend of whatever it was, and like, it's so easy to fall prey to those bad habits and those that negative self-talk and that rumination and the victimization of yourself. And it's hard to step out of that. Like, it's hard to set the alarm, 45 minutes before my son gets up so I can sit down and do the gratitude and do the prayer and do the journaling and do the breath work and do the stretching and do the sunlight in the eyes and do the cold plunge. And, like, all of those things are effort, and it's harder than hitting snooze on the alarm and staying in bed on a cold morning for another 30-40 minutes.
I'm glad you struggled with that too, because I've been like really not consistent with that at the moment, and I do think it's one of the reasons why I've been getting rattled more and more emotional. It just helps keep you in the pocket, and you've looked after yourself, and you've connected with Source, so that you can be better for every other person around you for that
As we
day.
said, you cannot pour from an empty cup.
Yeah.
And so you just got to be mindful of those things. But it's awesome to hear where you're at, man, and where you're heading. And I'm not going to lie, selfishly, I like some of these goals for the future. I wouldn't mind a overseas holiday funded by you and Dad every year.
100%, man. Let's go for it.
I'm
in huge debt right now, so I got to sort my shit out a little bit. But this is the dream.
But no, I'm on board with all of it as well. And after our chat on the potty last week, like I've just become so crystal clear about what it is. And like one of my colleagues yesterday is like, hey man, like there's this other site that's come up. It looks like you could do like a 3 or a 4 on it. You should check it out. And I'm just like, I'm not even going to look at it, man. Like that's just, thank you for sharing it. I really appreciate that. And then I just had the chat with him. I'm like, look, man, this is the decision that I've made. I'm not doing anything in the short term except just like enjoying this stage of life, being a present father. And when that golden opportunity comes up, which I know it will, I know I'm in a financial position to be able to pounce on it, but I'm not going to try and fit a square peg into a round hole. It just needs to all work together, and it all needs to happen congruently, and I just believe that that's the way that's going to happen. And it's just
such a relief,
such a weight off my shoulders to just get rid of all of the baggage that I've put on myself for no reason outside of, you know, the past trauma of not thinking that I deserve it. And it's just so hard to unpack that. And I think once I fast forward a few years from now and I get past this really challenging stage of life, being a first-time parent, raising a very high energy little kid and you know, hoping to have a second one, like for now it's just, as you said, be present, wake up every day and be in that moment with them and just drop all the other baggage that's not serving that.
Dude, I love that. Like, I've really enjoyed the last 4 or 5 of these that we've done. Like, it's just so nice to have, like, meaningful chats. And actually, it's sort of like therapy. Like, just actually going through it with you and figuring out what we want and talking really openly. And I've really enjoyed it. And I know it's different for people that are listening, but I hope, you know, you guys out there are enjoying these random combos where we ebb and flow between gold and dust. And yeah,
I'm so grateful for anybody that is willing to listen to this sort of stuff. And you know what it makes me realize is we're not alone. There's so many other people that are having the same experiences that you and I are in their own way, and you know they can resonate with this and know that they're not alone as well.
Or just stop listening to us because they're like, these guys have lost the plot.
And we'll still be vibing out, chatting to each other.
Thanks, Ma.
You just know when these bottles get cracked and on there, something's going wrong.
Yeah, exactly.
Thanks, bro.
G'day guys, my name's Ben and I'm the director here at Pumped on Property, and I just wanted to say a massive thank you for watching our content today. Now, if you're thinking about buying an investment property in the next 3 to 12 months, then the team and I would love to offer you a one-on-one strategy session. In that session, we can talk about exactly where you are right now, where you'd like to be longer term, and we can deeply educate you on the Australian market. And then you can take that information and go and absolutely smash it on your own, or potentially become one of the small number of clients that we work with each week. To book your session, all you have to do is go to www.pumpedonproperty.com and click that book your free strategy session button. But either way, we wish you all the best on your journey as an investor to financial freedom.